Welcome to the next session on metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a Greek word. Meta means change, morph means form. Change in form is known as metamorphosis. See here the form of egg, larvae, pupa, and adult. There is a change. There is a complete change in the form. Such change in the form is known as metamorphosis. See the definition here. The changes in the form of an insect that occur during its development from egg to adult formation are collectively known as metamorphosis, or the post-embryonic changes after hatching. The post-embryonic changes in the form of an insect are called as metamorphosis. See here stages of metamorphosis. Egg stage hatched into larvae. This larvae molt into pupa. These pupae are transformed or differentiated into adult. And this adult is the reproductive stage that again gives eggs. So such change in the form of insect during its development from egg to adult formation is known as metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. See here egg, young one stage and adult stage. Here this young one and adults are looking same morphologically. They are differ in size, but they are looking same morphologically. That is, post-embryonically, when there is no change in the form of young ones with respect to their adult stage, such metamorphosis is known as ametamorphosis. There is no change in the form of young one with respect to their adult stage. Such metamorphosis is known as ametamorphosis. The hatched insect. They resemble adult in all aspects except size and are referred as juveniles. This insect undergoes only 3 stages in their life cycle, that is egg stage, young one stage or juvenile stage, and adult stage. And ametamorphosis is the characteristics of all apterygote insects. Example includes silverfish, firebrats, and springtails. Next, hemimetamorphosis. See, from egg, larvae hatched, and this larvae is developed into the adult. But there is little change in the form of young ones and adult. Post-embryonically, when there is little change in the form of young ones with respect to their adult stage, such metamorphosis is known as hemimetamorphosis. See, there is a little change in the form of young ones with respect to their adult stage. Such change in form is known as hemimetamorphosis. It is also known as incomplete metamorphosis due to the absence of pupal stage in the life cycle. See here the hatched insect differ from the adult in form, habits, and habitat and are known as needs. This insect undergoes only 3 stages in their life cycle, that is egg stage, young one or needs, and adult stage. And hemimetamorphosis is the characteristic feature of lower exopterygote insect orders. Example includes dragonfly, damselfly, and mayfly. Parametabola or gradual metamorphosis. See here, egg stage, nymphal stage, adult stage. Here very little change is there in the form of young one with respect to their adult stage. Therefore, post-embryonically, when there is very little change in the form of young ones with respect to their adult stage, such kind of metamorphosis is known as gradual metamorphosis or parametamorphosis. It is called gradual metamorphosis because the changes from nymph to adult occur slowly and steadily without a pupal stage. It is also known as incomplete metamorphosis due to the absence of the pupal stage in the life cycle. The young ones are known as nymphs. These are terrestrial, resemble adults in form, habit, and habitat, except they are smaller in size, wingless, and not sexually mature. This insect undergoes three stages in their life cycle: egg stage, nymphal stage, and adult stage. And gradual metamorphosis is the characteristic of higher exopterygote insect order. Examples include cockroaches, grasshopper, and bugs. See here, hemimetamorphosis and parametamorphosis are gradual metamorphosis. Hemimetamorphosis involves dramatic differences between the needs and the adult in terms of form, habit, and habitat. But here in gradual metamorphosis involve gradual changes between the nymph and the adult in terms of form, habits, and habitat. See here in case of hemimetamorphosis form, needs lack fully developed wings and reproductive organs while adult have them. Habits here needs may be aquatic, feeding on smaller organisms, while adults are terrestrial and feed on flying insects. Habitat needs live in an aquatic habitats and adults are terrestrials. See in case of gradual metamorphosis, form nymph resemble adult with only size differences and gradual developing wings and reproductive organs. Habits nymphs and adult have similar habits, both being terrestrial with nymph and adult feeding similarly on the grasses. Habitat nymph and adult live in the same habitat, both being terrestrial, unlike Hemimetabola, where nymph and adult live in different habitats. Next, Holometabola or complete metamorphosis. See here egg stage, larval stage, pupal stage, and adult stage. This larval stage is completely different from adult stage in the form. Post-embryonically, when there is complete change in the form of young ones with respect to their adult stage, this kind of metamorphosis is known as complete metamorphosis or holometamorphosis. It is also known as complete metamorphosis due to the presence of pupal stage in its life cycle. Here the young ones, known as larvae, are completely differ from adult in the form, habits, and habitat. This insect undergoes four distinct stages in their life cycle, that is egg stage, larval stage, pupal stage, and adult stage. And this kind of metamorphosis is the characteristic feature of endopterygote insect orders. Example includes butterflies, moths, flies, bees, etc. See here classification of insects. That is subclass 1 Aterigotes. All Aterigote undergoes a metamorphosis or there is no change in their form. Subclass 2, that is Pterygota, it is again divided into Exopterygota and division 2 Endopterygota. Exopterygota undergoes hemimetamorphosis and all Endopterygota undergoes holometamorphosis. We will discuss this classification along with images and example in coming sessions. Other type of metamorphosis, epimorphic development and anamorphic development. Epimorphosis are and anamorphosis. Epimorphic development. It is a kind of development in which the body segment number is fixed before hatching and that is do not changes post-embryonically. That is, number of body segments are remain constant throughout the life. Such development is known as epimorphic development. Here no additional segments are added after hatching. And this seen in all insect orders except Procura. Example, most insects, that is beetle, flies, butterflies. Anamorphic development. It is a kind of development in which body segments are added or deleted after hatching during post-embryonic development. That is, segmental number changes during molting stages. Abdominal segment increases or decreases after each molt, even after sexual maturity. This kind of metamorphosis is seen in primitive arthropods and few insect groups, such as Procura and in millipedes. Hypermetamorphosis. See here, various larval stages are there: triangulin, active larvae, inactive larvae. It is a type of development where the insect has two or more distinctly different larval forms during its life cycle. That is, involve multiple larval stages, each differing in structure and activity level. The first larval stage is active and compodiform. Second larval stage is sluggish. When a insect has such kind of or possesses two or more kind of larval stages in their life cycle, then such development is known as hypermetamorphosis. This kind of metamorphosis seen in certain beetles and parasitic insects, example blister beetle and stylopids. Intermediate metamorphosis. It is a type of development that is intermediate between simple and complete metamorphosis. This insect exhibit feature of both hemimetabolous and holometabolous metamorphosis. That is, it is not fully simple and not fully complete. Many insects, such as whiteflies, scale insects, and thrips, exhibit intermediate metamorphosis. See here, intermediate metamorphosis in whitefly. Young one stage of all the insects are generally referred as larvae. but when it comes to particular, it will changes. See here, insect or insect order, and young one in them is known as Aterygote order insects. Young one in them is known as juvenile. In case of Odonata and Ephemeroptera, that is lower Hemimetabolous insect order, there we are calling that larval stage has needs. In case of bugs, grasshopper, cockroach, or in Parametabolous insect order, we are calling that larval stage as nymph. In case of Lepidoptera, that larval stage is known as caterpillar. In case of Diptera, we are calling larval stage as maggot. In Coleoptera, that larval stage is the grub. In honeybees, that larval stage we call as grub. In case of sawfly, that larval stage we call as larvae or caterpillar. This is the most important table for your exam point of view. Thank you. In this session, we are discussing insect body wall. The insect body wall is also known as integument or exoskeleton. This body wall forms the external covering of the insect body and it is ectodermal in origin. See the structure of the body wall. Insect body wall mainly consisting of 3 layers. See here, cuticle, epidermis and basement membrane. See in this image also, this is the cuticle and this layer is the epidermis and this layer is the basement membrane. Therefore, there are 3 main layers were there in insect body wall. That is outer non-cellular cuticle. These 3 lines indicates cuticle and this green cellular structure indicate epidermis. And below epidermis, there is inner non-cellular layer is there. That is the basement membrane. See here, outer non-cellular cuticle. So epicuticle, exocuticle and endocuticle combinedly form cuticles. This cuticle is secreted by the epidermis and it is divided into epicuticle, exocuticle and endocuticle. This epicuticle is the outermost non-chitinous thin layer. Here there is no chitin is present. Very important objective. There is no chitin in the epicuticle. Pore canal present in exocuticle help in deposition of this epicuticle. This epicuticle, this thin layer is again divided into following sublayers. See here, this thin epicuticle is divided into following sublayers, that is cement layer, wax layer, cuticulin layer, outer epicuticle and inner epicuticle. Cement layer, it is made up of lipids and tanned proteins. Wax layer, it is made up of packed wax molecules. Cuticulin layer, made up of polymerized lipoproteins. Outer epicuticle, very thin membrane, very thin and membrane-like. Inner epicuticle contain wax filaments. So this is all about epicuticle. See next layer, exocuticle. This portion is the exocuticle. Exocuticle lies between the thin epicuticle and another layer, that is the endocuticle. This exocuticle is made up of chitin and sclerotin. Here chitin is there, but in epicuticle there is no chitin. And this is the dark, rigid and hardened layer. Next layer is the endocuticle. This is the innermost and thickest layer of the cuticle. This is also composed of chitin and arthropodin. Here also chitin is there. And this is the colorless, soft and flexible layer. Exocuticle and endocuticle combinedly known as procuticle. Exocuticle and endocuticle combinedly called as procuticle. Procuticle means the main or principal part of the cuticle, since it forms the bulk of the insect's exoskeleton. So we have discussed regarding cuticle. That is, cuticle is made up of epicuticle, exocuticle and endocuticle. Next we are going to discuss about this epidermal layer. Before going into the discussion about epidermis, let's see the composition of the cuticle. Cuticle is composed of chitin, arthropodin, sclerotin and resin. Chitin, it is a tough nitrogenous polysaccharide made up of repeating unit of N-acetyl glucosamine. Chitin, it is made up of repeating units of N-acetyl glucosamine. The main function of the chitin is this form main component of the insect exoskeleton provides structural support, rigidity, flexibility and protection to the insect. Next component of cuticle is the arthropodin, an untanned protein which is water soluble. It contributes to the toughness and flexibility of the cuticle. Next, sclerotin. It is a water-insoluble tanned protein found in the hardened region of the insect exoskeleton, that is, sclerites. In sclerites, sclerotin will be there. It contributes to the stiffness and resilience of the insect body. Next, resin, an elastic protein found in areas requiring flexibilities, such as it is there at joints, wing hinges and some part of the exoskeleton. It provides elasticity and flexibility and allowing spring-like movement in insect. Next, see about middle cellular layer, that is the epidermis. We have already discussed about cuticle. It is made up of epicuticle, exocuticle and endocuticle. Next we are discussing about the middle layer, that is cellular layer, epidermis or hypodermis. It is there below the cuticle, that's why we are calling it as hypodermis. Single layer of the cell. It is made up of single layer of the cell located between the endocuticle and basement membrane. The cells of epidermis are held by means of desmosomes, that is a cytoplasmic process. All the epidermal cells are glandular. They secrete cuticle and other enzymes. Types of epidermal cells see here based on their function. Dermal gland produce cement layer. Trichogen cells. Trichogen cell produce hair-like setae or trichomes. Moulting gland secrete moulting fluid. Here moulting gland is there that secretes moulting fluid. We are going to discuss about moulting in the coming sessions. Peristigmatic gland found around spiracle in dipterans larvae. They are hydrophobic in nature. The function of the epidermis. Epidermis secretes cuticle, produces enzymes to digest old cuticle. It repairs the wound, gives external appearance to the insect. Next and last layer of the next and last layer of the insect body wall or exoskeleton is the non-cellular layer, that is the basement membrane. So we have already discussed about cuticle, epidermis, and now we are going to discussing about the last layer of the body wall, that is the basement membrane. Basement membrane lies just below the epidermis. This is amorphous, there is no particular form to it, granular and composed of natural or neutral mucopolysaccharides. Its thickness is up to 0.5 micrometers. It forms a continuous sheet similar to a neural lamella. So regarding exoskeleton or body wall, we have already discussed. Next, we are going to discuss about endoskeleton. Inward growth of the cuticle. See here, inward growth of the cuticle. Inward growth of the cuticle that provides space for muscle attachment is known as endoskeleton. Types of endoskeletal structures. So endoskeletal structures are of two types, epidermis and epiphysis. So this is the epidermis. Hollow invagination of the body wall is the epidermis. Solid invagination of the body wall is the epiphysis. Functions of body wall in insect. Act as external armor, that is protective outer shield just like armor worn by a soldier. Support and strengthens external organs such as jaws and ovipositor. Protect from physical damage, harmful chemicals, parasite, predators and pathogens. Internally protect vital systems like foregut, hindgut, trachea. It also provides space for muscle attachment, maintain body safe, prevent water loss due to the presence of the wax layer, houses sensory structure to detect environmental cues, cuticular pigment provide body coloration. Next, see about cuticular appendages. Cuticular appendages are the structure that are extended from the insect exoskeleton, and these are classified into two main types based on their structure and association with the epidermis. That is one non-cellular appendages and second one is the cellular appendages. Non-cellular appendages, these appendages do not have any direct association with the epidermis. They are rigidly attached to the cuticle but are not formed from the living cells. That's why these are non-cellular appendages. Example is the minute hairs and thorns or spines. Cellular appendages, these are the appendages are directly associated with the epidermis, meaning they are formed by the epidermal cells only. Cellular appendages can be unicellular or multicellular. See here example for unicellular and multicellular appendages. Clothing hairs, plumose hairs in honeybee, bristles in flies, scales in moths and butterfly, glandular setae in caterpillars, sensory seta. It is there in most of the insect associated with sensory neurons or neuron. Seta, this is the hair-like outgrowth from the epidermis in most of the insects. Multicellular appendages. Multicellular appendages are movable spur and immovable spines. That's it. Thank you. In this session, we are discussing moulting in insect. See here, this insect shedding its old cuticle, and this discarded old cuticle is known as exuvia. Similarly, see here the silkworm larvae shedding its old cuticle, and this discarded old cuticular part is known as exuvia. Moulting, it is also known as ecdysis. It is the periodical process of shedding of the old cuticle accompanied by the formation of the new cuticle. Once it is shedded, new cuticle forms immediately. This molting process enables the insect to grow because the rigid exoskeleton does not allow insect to grow or expand. That's why insects are undergoing molting in their immature stage. Exuvia. The cuticular remains discarded during molting is known as exuvia. See here terminologies related to the molting. So eggs hatches into first instar, that is egg eclosion gives first instar larvae. First instar larva undergoes first time molting and gives second instar. Second instar larvae undergoes second time molting and gives third instar. Third instar undergoes third time molting and gives fourth instar. Fourth instar undergoes fourth time molting and gives fifth instar. See here egg hatching giving first instar. First instar undergoes first time molting and gives second instar. Second instar undergoes second time molting and gives third instar, and so on. Therefore, the time period between any two molting is known as stadium. The time interval between two successive molt is the stadium. Instar, the form assumed by the insect in any stadium is known as instar. Frequency of molting. Molting occurs multiple times during the immature stage, that is, during larval or nymphal stage of the insect, before they reaches adulthood. The adult stage does not molt further. Hormonal control of molting. Molting is regulated by the hormones secreted from the various endocrine glands in insects. See here, neurosecretory cells are there in brain and secrete a brain hormone, that is PHTH, prothoracicotropic hormone. This prothoracicotropic hormone activates prothoracic gland. Upon activation, this prothoracic gland secrete molting hormone. This molting hormone activates molting glands that is there in the insect body wall, that be in the epidermis. Molting hormone action. This stimulates the molting gland. Molting gland secretes molting gel. This gel initially contains inactive enzymes like chitinase and proteases, but later this molting gel is activated. This molting gel, upon activation, converted into the molting fluid. The function of the molting fluid digests the old endocuticle, allowing the insect to shed the old cuticle and expand the new one. So therefore, various endocrine glands are involving in insect molting. Thank you.